All right, so we are now going to go in a completely different direction. Tomorrow we're going to pick up Create Cash Flow, and we've got some great sessions planned, including developing your vision and your 90-day action plan. Okay, but right now I wanted to introduce you to a very successful entrepreneur. So successful, in fact, that he actually won the International Entrepreneur of the Year award. Okay, think about how many entrepreneurs there are in the world. You know how little Australia is compared to everyone else. He actually won the International Entrepreneur of the Year award. Now, I'm not going to go through his full bio and his story, because he's basically going to share with you his story that started off with just $50 and he turned it into a multi-million dollar business and sold it for a lot of like figures. So he's going to share with you his story to business success. There's going to be heaps of great takeaways and little tips as well, and some great jokes in there too. So I know you'll have a lot of fun, but this is a really great way to be able to kind of, get some inspiration after what's been a heavy day of information. And then we'll kind of go into networking and drinks and also trivia and have some fun. And then we'll come back tomorrow and do it all again and go even further. All right. So now what I'd like you to do is join me in giving a huge round of applause to your next presenter. His name is Justin Herald, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Hello. Hello. That's better. You're supposed to be friendly. If you haven't heard me speak before, two things. Put your seatbelt on, and I talk really fast. So we're going to have some fun today. The one thing I won't do when I speak, and I love speaking, I used to get in trouble at school for it, now it's my job, but I will never tell you how to suck eggs in your own business. How you do business is entirely up to you. There is a secret to success, and that secret's really deep. So this is about as deep as we're going to get today, and this will give you the tone of where we're going. So it is pretty intense. But if what you're doing right now is working for you, you're doing it the right way. If what you're now doing is not working for you, you're doing it the wrong way. Got that? But what we've got to do in business, and you'll find where I come from, it's very simplistic. I'm old school, and I think the problem these days with a lot of new business owners, there's so much shit there. There's so much information, white noise in the marketplace, that we go and do everything that it tells us to do, but we don't do the basic stuff. So you'll find with my stuff today it's very basic, but I'm not sure about anyone else. 1 + 1 = 2, and that's how I think business should be done. It's pretty simple stuff. So yeah. Now, before I start, do you remember the Muppets? Do you remember the two old farts in the Muppets that didn't like anyone? There's always two in every audience that I speak that just don't like me right from the start. I'm okay with that. I am a very likeable person though, but if you are one of those Muppets and you're thinking to yourself, what's my business credentials? I'll give you them right from the start and we can go from there. Is that okay? Yep. I've never done a profit and loss, never done a forecast, never done a budget, never borrowed money, and never done had an overdraft, and the only thing I passed in school was recess. So that's my business credentials. But what I did do is this old-fashioned thing, which I'm unfortunately, and I'm not saying anyone in this room is doing this, unfortunately a lot of people don't use this principle anymore because they think success is easy. Now really, if success was easy, everyone would be successful. But a lot of people don't do the one thing that we all did probably when we first started our business right at the start, and that is get off our rear ends. So that's all I did, is got off my rear end and gave it a crack. You'll find, you'll see that my whole business was by accident, by default rather than design at the start. Whatever. And yes, at the end, one Muppet's going to come up to me, not probably here, but normally, oh, you're just lucky. Yep, probably was, sucked in for me. There we go. Just getting it all out and over and done with right at the start, really. So, when we start a business, there's so many reasons. There's a lot of people in this room, the reason you started your business is your reason. Some people start a business because they want a better lifestyle. Some people start a business, I don't get this one, but they want to be the master of their own destiny. Whatever that is. I sat next to a numbnut on a plane a while ago. I hate sitting next to people on planes for one reason. If they're stupid, you are stuck with them the entire time. You can't get another seat. So this particular time I was on the front cover of the Voyeur magazine, and I was speaking in New Zealand a while back, and a lady thought the Voyeur magazine was a magazine about people that look through people's windows. I've been in that one too, but it's the Virgin magazine, as we know. So I was on the front cover. Now, I'll talk about media attention later on, and I'm a big fan of getting media attention because it helps you grow your business really easily. But when you get it, like I know people go, I wish people would know who I was. No, you don't, because you can't be a dickhead anymore, right? It's just, there's some downsides to the whole thing. But anyway, I get onto the plane, and it's bizarre when you're looking at you, because everyone's got their magazines. So I'm walking down the aisle, and I sit down, and I sit next to this guy, and he goes, I know who you are. I went, that's great. And he said, I'm a businessman too. I said, awesome. I said, why did you start your business? He said, I wanted some spare time. Your reason for starting your reason, as I said before, is entirely up to you. There is absolutely no wrong reason for starting a business. People will try and come up with these, I want to save the world stuff. If that's you, wackadoo. But a lot of the time it's a personal thing, and it's not I want to be successful, because what is success? I've met a lot of rich dickheads in my life, so that doesn't make them successful because they've got money. What makes them successful is what they've actually achieved. For me, it was a simple thing, and I'm still doing this to this day, 25 years later. My father is a minister, which I know you were probably thinking that when I got up here. Now, my dad was the head of the religion when I was growing up, which I got no dramas with any of that stuff. But the problem with me being a minister's kid, there's always someone inside the church that tells you how to live your life. The problem I got with that is I have a rare disease. And this disease is I speak before I think. So people will come up to me when I was young and say, hey, Justin, you've got this problem in your life. And I go, look, you really suck in your own life. I'm not sure why you're telling me what to do. Which apparently you don't say that to ministers' wives. I learned pretty quickly. Anyway, in 1995, I was 25 years old. A lady came up, she said, Justin, you've got an attitude problem. I said, no, I don't. She said, you answer everyone back. I said, no, I don't. And she said, until you stop doing that, you're going to end up in the scrap heap of life. The only reason I started my first business plan was piss the lady off in my father's church. That's it. No more, no less. I didn't think of it anymore. I think a lot of people these days, when they go into business, are doing this whole they look like they've got constipation because they're thinking so hard. It's just like, really, it's not that hard. Are you happy where you're at? Are you not happy where you're at? Go do something about it. So, as we know, when you start a business, you've got to go do your research. So I went and did my financial research. I went to the local ATM machine and I put my key card in it. And at age 25, I had $1.25 in the bank. Now, you cannot piss someone off with $1.25. So I rang my little brother, Dean. I said, Dean, I need to borrow some money. He said, why? I said, I want to piss so-and-so off in Dad's church. He goes, all right, here's $50. So with that, I was filthy rich. Then I went and did my market research. Now, my market research was how many printers, to start off with, how many printers are in the area. Because I only had $50 and I had no petrol in my car. I had a Mini back in those days. I had no petrol in it, and I didn't want to use my working capital. I know the words now. My working capital for fuel. So my parents gave me $5, and if you ever owned one of those old Minis, $5 gets you a very long way. So my research was, how far will that $5 get me and back, and how many printers are in that whole area? There was one. So I rang up Marty. Marty's one of my best mates. We used to do nothing together, and we were really good at it. I said, I'm going to start a business today. He said, you know how? I said, no. He said, can I come along and watch then? Come along. The one thing I hope that most people get when I speak is, I hope you get more than one thing, but one of the things I want you to get is the whole fun factor. Have you ever met those people that used to be the life of the party and then they become a businessman? You go, what the hell happened to you? Like, being a business owner should give you more freedom to be able to enjoy the whole process. Is it hard? I was going to say a bad word then. Absolutely. Really hard. But it's enjoyable because it's yours. There's this whole ownership. Not making money for someone else and the boss taking it all home all the time. It's your own thing, which comes with highs and lows and whatever. But it's got to be fun. So I said, right, come along and watch. So we went out to the same printer that I found, and I walked in and I said to him, hello, I've chosen you out of everyone in the yellow pages to be my printer, which wasn't a lie, I just couldn't afford to go to anyone else. And he said, that's fantastic. And I said, I'm thinking the same thing. And he said, how much money do you have? And I said, well, I've got $50. He said, well, you need 680 for the startup. And I said, well, if I had 680, I just would have said to you, mate, I have 680. But as I just said to you, mate, I have 50. Can we just have a $50 conversation, not a $680 conversation? He said, I can't do it. And I said, well, you're missing the opportunity. And he said, what opportunity? I said, pretty simple, to make $50, mate. It's a simple conversation at this point in time. He went back and forth. In the end, he said, okay, I'll do it, but don't tell anyone. And I remember saying to him, mate, no one's ever going to listen to me talk anyway, so I'm not going to tell anyone. Just don't tell him. Attitude, I started the business Attitude, obviously, but Attitude started off originally as a slogan T-shirt company. Slogans such as, it's all about luck, just ask any loser. I don't have an attitude problem, you have a perception problem. My personal favourite, sarcasm is just another service I provide. I got 4 shirts made up for the $50. I sold 3 of them to 3 of my mates. One of them was my brother. And Dean said, I just gave you $50, why do I have to pay you 20 for a shirt? I said, well, I'm a businessman. We all went to church the following Sunday. We all walked in at the same time. We all sat on the front row. We all had the same T-shirt on, and this lady walked in and she was ticked. It's the best $50 I've ever spent in my entire life, right? Now, I wasn't expecting a great deal from that. I do think sometimes people have unrealistic expectations when it comes to the outcomes of their business. I really do. I do a lot of business mentoring, and a lot of the times the first session I'll sit with someone, they tell me what they want to achieve, and I go, yeah, not going to happen. It's not that I'm trying to blow their bubble or burst their bubble, it's just there's got to be a reality thing there. Will you pay your house off in the first year? Probably not. Just get used to that, maybe the second or third or fourth, doesn't really matter, but you've got to have goals. My goals was to upset the lady, tick, done. Now, I wasn't expecting anything from that. I was going to go away and the following Sunday come up with, or the following week, come up with something else to piss her off the following Sunday. I thought, this is going well. We'll just keep it going. But on that day, people come up and said some stuff to me. First thing, I love your T-shirt. I said, thank you. Second thing, can I buy one? I hadn't thought that far ahead. Now, the only time I talk about figures is now just to show you how it went, and then we'll get back to this point. Now, I'm a really big believer in organic growth in a business. You can go throw a crap load of money at something, but if it's not going to work, you've just wasted a crap load of money. We've got to find out if a business is going to be organic or not. Can it just grow by itself? Is there a way that it can start rolling by itself, and how do we capitalise on that? Now, I know that now. I know that's a great way to do it. I did it in the first place. Didn't know you're supposed to do it in the first place, but for me, it was common sense. Now, common sense is like deodorant. The people that really need to use it rarely do, right? So if you have this whole common sense approach to running a business, you actually won't go that far off track if you think about it. So my organic way of doing it. So I sold the 3 shirts, could make 6 shirts. So those 6 could make 12, 24, 48, 96. Need a calculator after that, but that's the way that the business grew. My first year's turnover was $50 start was $980,000. The second year was $2.5 million, $5.5 million, $12.5 million, $22.5 million. Last year the business was $37.5 million, so it sort of went okay. The good thing though about $37 million, besides the cars, I love cars, but besides the cars, I don't normally get ladies going, I don't get the car thing, I don't get the shoe thing. Same thing, really. So besides the cars, my wife's here. I can bag her out now because she said she was going to come up on stage, but she won't because she told me not to say that, so I didn't say it to get you up on stage. But this whole shoe thing, I'm not sure if any other blokes had this same problem. When they come out and say, which shoe would you like, or which one should I choose? Has anyone else done that? And you choose one? They go for the other one. Has anyone else noticed that? Don't ask me in the future. But anyway, so besides the cars, but the brand became an international brand, sold obviously all over the world. I write books. So sold over the world. Now, wherever that lady goes on holidays, I am now pissing her off globally. It's awesome. So anyway, I didn't know what to do. And so I thought, I'm just going to do And there'll be people in this room that may get to a certain, maybe there now, or may get to a certain point where you reach that glass ceiling where you go, I've done everything that was working, now it's not working, what do I do? You just got to try different stuff. And most of the time, I'll say it again, it comes back to the whole common sense thing. So for me, the thing that made sense was sell to the people who are around me. So I started to sell to my mates and friends of my mates and mates and mates and friends of my mates. And that's the way that I grew it. Now what people do is they come up with this brand, they come up with this business, they push it out on the social media, they make product and they wait for everyone to come. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. If it's not going to work, fail small and fast. So, ran out of friends. I ran out of people that liked me after a while. I thought, can't really sell to the people that don't like me anymore. So I thought, what do I do? And I had a brilliant idea, because I'm an ideas man. I thought, there's shops out there that sell clothing, and I have clothing. I need to go and see these people. I know it's brilliant, take it in. So I went to this shop in Sydney. I live in Sydney. And this is the conversation. Walked into the shop and said, hello, I'm from Attitude. The guy goes, I've never heard of it. I say, well, you wouldn't have, because I haven't told you about it yet. He goes, well, no one's asking for it. So they're not asking for it because they haven't heard of it. And if they haven't heard of it, they're not going to ask for it. But if they had heard of it now and they do ask for it, you still haven't heard of it. So how about I tell you about it? So if someone asks for it, you know what they're talking about. He goes, well, there's no demand. I said, there's no frickin' demand, mate, because no one's asking for it. They're not asking for it because it's not in your store. It's not in your store because you won't let me tell you about it being in your store. So how about I tell you about it being in your store? And you're going to go, oh, I don't really mind that. And you're going to ask me the question, how many is your minimum order? I'm going to go, just one. You're going to go, just one. I'm going to go, yeah, just one. You're going to go, that's amazing. I know. So then you're going to probably buy that, just one. You're going to put it right at the back of your store where no one can find it, but you're going to put it at the back of your store. Then one day someone's going to come in and say, excuse me, do you have anything new that I've never heard about before? And you're going to go, oh, yes. And you're going to take them up to the back of your store and they're going to go, I love that. Could I buy that, please? And you're going to go, cha-ching, yes, you can. They're going to go to their mate's barbecue a week later and the mates are going to go, love your shirt. Where did you get that shirt from? And they're going to say, from your store. So a week after that, the mates are going to come in and say, my mate bought a shirt from you a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I love it. Do you have anything similar or the same? Which is what we call demand, but we can't get to demand because you're not letting me tell you about it in the first place. You know what he said to me? When there's a demand, come back and see me. Now, has anyone ever met an idiot? It's now illegal to hit stupid people. But this next thing works an absolute treat. The next time you're in front of a numbnut that's doing your head in your head, give them a mental headbutt. It'll make you feel so much better. You virtually break their nose. They've got no clue. So I walked back to my car all dejected. I'm not sure if anyone else has done this. You know, you're all excited. You know it can work and then... So I'm walking back. Remember, I spoke in a high school before Christmas and I used this next example and I had blank faces in the entire... Oh, no, I'm getting old now. But do you remember Muttley, the cartoon? This is the school. But I was doing the whole... You remember how he had his pity party? So I'm walking back to, it's just supposed to be easy, Justin. Having this meltdown, right? I get to my car. I sit in my car and I had an epiphany. Now, I don't know how to spell it, but I know I had one. Up until that point, I was listening to every single person around me, my mates, tell me how to run a business. It was at that minute that I realised they're all on the dole. You'd be surprised how many people in this room probably listen to people and tell them what to do that have never run a business before. If it's unproven by them, it's irrelevant information. Doesn't matter what they've done before, because you know the one thing that's missing? The emotional attachment of owning a business. I can come in and say, if I was a doctor, you know what I would have done? I would have done this. Well, that's great, but I don't understand the whole stuff behind the scene. And you've got to be very careful who you allow into your little thinking when it comes to business advice. As far as I'm concerned, that's just my opinion, and I'm right because I have a microphone. So I sit in the car and thought, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this whole thing wrong. And I decided to change the way that I did my business from that day, and I've never gone away from it, ever. Now, this will not be, as Oprah says, an aha moment for you. This is common sense. I decided to add one thing into the equation, my personality. Now, if you don't have a personality, we are selling them later on, 2 for the price of 1. Awesome deal. But what makes you you is why your customers will come back. It's why your customers will tell, or clients, whatever you want to call them, will tell someone else about you. Your business, your products are secondary. The personality is the most. Now you may have employees that don't have one. They've never had one. They leave it at home every day. We need to have that personality back in because, I'll tell you why, personality, if your own personality is attached to you, correct? Correct. Which also your emotions are attached to you, correct? Correct. Which means if you're running your business, it should be from an emotional perspective because you're emotionally attached to the outcomes, which means it's easy to be yourself when you walk into the office, the whatever, every day. Why go and change? Now, I'm dressed up for you today. The normal, I have shoes on. So I haven't changed in the last 25 years at all. What's the point? It doesn't make any sense. So I thought, I'm just going to be me. So I rang up 4 of my mates. I said, I need you guys to come over tonight. They said, why? I said, I'm having a board meeting. They come over the next day, they said, or that night, they said, what's up? I said, I want one of you to ring the surf store once a week, and this is all I want you to say. Week 1, ring, ring, hello. Do you have any attitude gear? No, we don't. Week 2, hello. Do you have any attitude gear? No, not yet. Week 3, hello. Do you have any attitude gear? The guy goes, no, but a few people have been asking for that brand. Really? Week 4, hello. Do you have any attitude gear? And the guy goes, no, we're waiting for the rep to come back in because there's such a demand for that brand. There's no demand, it's just me and my 4 mates ringing up the same bloke. So if you think about it, if you start to shut this and open these, you'll hear how people actually want to be sold to. I didn't hear that guy say to me, oh, no one's asking, no, I don't like it, sorry. He wasn't saying I don't like it. He was just saying no one's asking for it. So for me, common sense was, let's get people to ask for it. Seemed to make sense. Following day, I went in. Now, I didn't know that 2 brothers owned the place, but luckily for me, a different guy was there, a different brother. Walked in, had all my stuff in my bag, and walked in, a bag on the ground. I said, hello, mind if I can show you my brand? And he goes, oh, what's it called? I said, it's called Attitude Gear. And he goes, stop. I said, okay. He goes, everyone is asking for your brand right now. It was just me and my 4 mates. Excuse me. He put an order in that day. It was for $1,817. It was time for financial retirement for me right then. Anyone else done that in your first order? Woohoo! Let's close the doors. I retired successful. Now I tried to get into other places and I had a bit of success, but there was this whole no one's asking for it. And I'm like, you dipshits, like, of course they're not asking for it. So anyway, I thought, what do I do? So I decided that I needed to find out if it was going to work or not. This goes against what most people have taught, but I'm a very big believer in strategic quitting. Not everything is going to work. We need to know when to go, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Now, most people are still trying to flog that dead horse, wondering why it's not winning the races. It's dead, right? So what we've got to figure out is what part of our business is not worthwhile resurrecting because it's never going to be able to breathe any life. I needed to know, is this thing going to work or not going to work? Was I a business guy? Nah. I just didn't want to waste my time on idiots that go, oh, no one's asking for it. So I decided to go to a place here in Sydney called Parklea Markets. Anyone ever heard of Parklea Markets? I love it how we do this in Australia. It's the largest markets in the Southern Hemisphere. There's nothing else in the Southern Hemisphere. It's not that hard, is it? Anyway, so I rang up Marty because I wanted to see if the retailer goes, no, I don't like it, and then the consumer goes, oh, I don't like it. Well, that's time for me to go, oh, am I going to do it? So that's all I wanted to find out. Test and measure, they call that these days. So I rang up Marty, he said, Marty, do you want to come along? He goes, no. I said, oh, okay. I said, I'll pay you $100 a day if you do it. He goes, I'd love to come and support your dream, Justin. So we went out. We got there, we set up. It was just it was cheap in the old days, $86 for the weekend. They gave you a trestle table. There was no like girly cloth over the top, just a table. And Marty goes, what do we do? I said, I don't know. He goes, well, what are we here for? I said, well, we're selling shit. He goes, well, how do we do it? I go, I don't know. I've never done this before. And I said, what do you reckon we should do? And he goes, I don't know. I said, well, why don't we just get the boxes and just tip them out? He goes, yeah, it's a good idea. So we got the boxes and we just tipped them out. It wasn't in sizes, wasn't in styles. It looked like a teenager's bedroom. It was just everywhere. Now, because I'm not a real big fan of talking to stupid people, It's one of those things that the older I get, I'm really enjoying the pre-grumpy old man stage. I really enjoy it, right? But I'll give you an example, like dumb things. I just did, this is funny in itself, but last year I did this tour for the Australian Hairdressing Council. This is my upstyle, by the way. So they got me to go around the country and they had seminars for salon owners on how to do business better, blah, blah, blah. But every time they took me to a different state, they'd take me to the #1 salon in the state. Like, what I'm going to do with that information, I have no clue. But we were in Canberra. This is about dumb people. In Canberra. And I'm standing talking to the receptionist, or coordinator they call them now, talking to her, and this lady comes from outside in, a customer. She goes, "Excuse me, do you cut hair here?" "No, we put it back on your head here." Anyway, because I didn't want to have a stupid conversation with people coming up to our stand of T-shirts to say, "What are you selling?" I said to Marty, to stop that, let's just put the slogans behind us so they can read it. And I didn't know this was the pre-qualification thing, but that made sense to me. I don't want to talk to you if you're not going to buy it. Like, that's just the way I want it. So people would stand back, have a little bit of a chuckle, and they'd come up. At 9 o'clock it opens, essentially back in the olden days. 9:15, sold out. There were lines and lines and lines of people lining up in an orderly fashion to buy my stuff. And halfway through the selling frenzy, Marty turns to me and says, "I think they think we're someone else." Shocked the living daylights out of me. Totally shocked. You know, the one person that you need to impress on a daily basis is not your customers, it is not your suppliers, it is not your staff, it's not your husband, it's not your wife, it's yourself. You've got to sit there and go, "Oh crap, I didn't know I could do that." You know what that means? It actually means you're operating outside of your comfort zone. And the only time you can grow your comfort zone is when you're out of it, not when you're in it. So, and I lived my whole life outside my comfort zone, so it's easy for me. But anyway, took off in the markets. Right place, right time. Yes, I was lucky. The right time, right? So it was going well. And then we're driving one Saturday morning to the markets, and I said to Marty on the way, I said, "You know what? My dad used to say some wacky stuff when we were kids. Like he's got 9 doctorates. He's got more degrees than thermometer, my dad. And so when he used to say stuff as when we were kids, no idea what you just said, but that's awesome. But one of the things, and it made sense only when I started a business, and one of the things he said to us when we were kids, if you want to succeed in life, find someone that's actually gone down the path you want to go down and learn from their mistakes, don't make your own. And as a 16-year-old, but when I started a business, I go, "Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, that's wise." So I said to Marty, "You set up, and I'm going to go find someone in the markets and give me some advice." Went over to this guy that had been in the markets for ages, selling T-shirts, and I went over to him and said, "Hi, how you going?" He said, "Good." I said, "Just wondering if you can give me some advice. You know, I've just started here." He goes, "Yeah, you're destined to fail." "Oh, right." No one's. Now, thinking he's a smart bloke, I said, "Oh, why is that?" You know, I was a bit of a sponge. He goes, "Oh, it's a fad." I said, "I don't even know what a fad is, but it seems to be working." Now, have you ever been given advice, and it's normally unsolicited advice, when someone gives you their advice and it goes totally the opposite to what the actual results are you're getting right now? You know what that's called? Bad advice. Don't try and make their advice fit your situation. Because we were doing $7,000 to $9,000 a weekend cash. I paid tax. Cash. And this bloke's telling me it's not going to work. And I'm thinking, well, if it's not going to work, I can't wait for it to work. But then he said, "I was too quiet in here." I said, "Oh, okay." But then a whole heap of people started coming in. I said, "Here comes some people. Let's see how we go." He goes, "I wouldn't serve them." I said, "Oh, why is that?" He goes, "They've got no shoes on." Now, I'm not sure if you've ever been to Parklea Markets. You don't get dressed up to go to Parklea Markets. And I said, "Well, I'll serve them." He goes, "Why would you serve them?" I said, "Because I've got no shoes on." Seems to make sense to me, really. Started to notice way back then, I actually think it's worse today than ever. The amount of people in business that prejudge their customers based upon the way they look, dress, whatever. Now, clothes is dumb. Costs a lot of money to look like a dag these days, so the whole clothing thing is just out the window. But then the whole tattoo thing, well, if you haven't got a tattoo, you're the weird one these days as opposed to that, so you can't do that. But this is something very close to my heart, so don't come with me through an airport, because apparently I'm a terrorist. So, and it's now illegal, this is funny, and I found this out, illegal to use humour in an airport. That in itself is funny. They haven't figured that out yet. Anyway, this particular time I checked my bags into Qantas and I'm walking through the metal detector. Oh, have you noticed, has anyone else figured this out? The metal detector, everyone that works at the metal detector thing, they're all beaten up in school. And they're all going to get you back, right? So I go through the metal detector, no problem. Get the little wandy bloke. Can I stop you for a random search? I said, it's not random. He goes, it's random. I said, it's not random. So he does the whole thing. And have you noticed how they look shocked now that you've got nothing? Oh, you're fine. Couldn't fit the bomb in my pocket. Oh, you can't say that anymore. All right. So I go through. Then I get bored, so I go back out. Did a bit of a wander, come back through, go through the metal detector, same bloke stops me. Can I stop? I said, it's not random. You just stopped me. What did you think I did in the last 5 minutes? Random, not random. You're fine. Go through. Then my plane was delayed. So I decided to go to the Virgin thing to get something to eat. Walking back into the Qantas terminal, I get there and I go, there's two ways I can go through. He's here. I'm going to that one. So I line up, doing this whole, have you noticed we all do this? And I look up, he's here now. And you can't get out of the line now because you're committed and it's going to arouse suspicion. So I keep going. He stops me, he goes, can I stop you? I said, are you kidding me? He goes, do we have a problem? I said, we had a problem the first time you stopped me. I'm not sure if you've realised that. I said, but can I ask you a question? He said, what? I said, have you looked at the sort of people that have done bad stuff through airports? He goes, what's your point? I said, did they look like me? Bald head, goatee, earrings, tattoos, standing out like nothing else. I said, no, they look like normal people that you're letting pass because you kept waiting for the bald-headed peckerhead to keep walking through. I got taken to a room. I was given a lecture. Hang on, I can't smile because you're not allowed to smile through the whole thing. On the dangers of using humour in an airport. I missed my plane. Anyway, so this is in the markets. I didn't care. Like, for me, it didn't make any sense to prejudge someone based upon if I thought they had money or didn't have money. Some of the people I know who are the wealthiest people I know, you would swear should be homeless. Like, that's the way that they look, because they're not really concerned about how you think that they should look wealthy. They're just happy within themselves. So anyway, I said to Marty, we're going to do two things. We're going to serve whoever comes up to our table, but one other thing we're going to do. We're going to do one thing that no one else is doing here. And this is one thing that I think you should add inside, well, it's two things actually, that you should add inside your business. Because when it comes to our competitors, what we're trying to do is looking at what they're doing and going, okay, we need to emulate that, we need to do this, we need to do that. Two things. What are they? That's a very good question. Entertainment and engagement. We wanted to make sure when someone came up to our table in the markets, they had a brilliant time. When I didn't care if they bought or if they didn't. My theory, simple as, because we were probably one of the first tables they're going to come to. So we knew they weren't going to make a buying decision on that, which is now I know it's called a buying decision, but weren't going to buy right then. Because they're going to go around and see what else they can get or get my product at a cheaper price because they didn't know it was my brand. They thought it was anyone's brand. So they go around, but when they went to the next table, which we knew was a lady who just hated life, but on a Saturday she'd be reading the Saturday Telegraph and Woman's Day, and unless you put money in front of her face, she's not even going to look at you. So on Sunday, it's going to be the Sunday Telegraph and probably NW or whatever, and she's still not going to look at you. So the first thing they come to is the next table, and they're going to go, I really like those guys. It was personality over product. Took off big time in the markets. And I'm sitting in my garage one day. I used to run my whole business from my garage, which was awesome with Sydney traffic. It took me about 3.5 seconds to get to work. So I'm sitting in my garage and phone rings and the lady goes, hello, it's the Alan Jones radio show. Now, I got excited because at that stage, the only Alan Jones I'd ever heard about was the Formula One motor car racing driver. And I love cars. I'm thinking, I'm going for a drive. She goes, no, you're not. I said, why not? She goes, it's not him. I said, who is it? She said, Alan Jones. I said, I know, I'm excited. She goes, not him, the other Alan Jones. I said, who's Alan Jones? She goes, you don't know. I said, do you know who Justin Herald is? She said, not really. I said, well, we're even then, aren't we? She told me who it was. For those who don't know, he's the talkback radio guy, very popular. It was the #1 station in Australia, big time. but talkback. I said, who listens to talkback? She goes, oh, it's very popular. I said, well, not really. I don't listen to it. It's not that popular. And she said, oh, it's great. And I now know I'm old because I now only listen to talkback radio. And I carry a hanky. So, she hates it when I do that. So, she goes, he wants to do an interview. Why? Someone that I served in the markets knew someone else that knew someone else that knew someone else that knew Alan Jones. They used to call that 6 degrees of separation. We now call it 3 degrees of separation because of the whole social media, which is actually not that social, but social media. So you don't know the person in front of you. This is my theory, and this is one way that we grow all of the businesses that I deal with. Go after your customer's customer. That's where you should be going. Your customer is easy. You're going to look after them anyway. But if you're going after your customer's customer, you're going to look after them so well because you want them to tell everyone else that they know. We call that now reach. Really, if you think about it, it's reach. But it's all about making sure that when you do one thing, it goes further than just that one person. So I didn't know any of this. I just looked after people when they were at the table at markets. It was just, but they knew people. So she goes, oh, he wants to do an interview with you. I said, why is that? Oh, you started your business with $50. Now, no big deal, right? Because the media thinks it's amazing. But when you're 25 and you've got $1.25 in the bank, you don't tell anyone because it doesn't assist you in picking up chicks, right? So you just keep it to yourself. So she goes, oh, he wants to come in. Now, you need to come in tomorrow to the studio. I said, well, I can't. She said, no one says no to Alan. I said, oh. I said, you just let him know, no. Now, if he rung today, I'd drop my bundle, but I had no idea who the bloke was. So she said, we said goodbye. Then about 10 minutes later, she rings up, she goes, oh, he's agreed to do it over the phone. Will be. Following day, I'm in Brisbane. Phone call comes in, 7:10, and it went like this, blah, 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 $50, blah, 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 $50, you're a legend, $50. Get off the phone. My sister-in-law said, how was that? I said, I don't know. He just kept on talking about this whole $50 thing. Like, didn't think it was that big a deal. Started eating my breakfast. Then a current affair rings up. Now, when a current affair ring you crap yourself. I didn't touch her. I always do stories on dodgy brothers back in the olden days. Have you noticed now on Current Affair they do a story on washing powder? Anyway, so they said, we want you to come in. I said, oh, okay. They said, we heard you on Alan Jones. And I said, oh, do people listen to him? Yeah, they do. So they said, we want to do a story on you. And I said, oh, okay. So about 4 or 5 weeks later, they did a story. Went on, about 6 weeks after that, went on a Current Affair. In the first 30 minutes of it going on a Current Affair, 187 stores rang me to put my brand into their store. And that was the day I decided I was never going to spend a single cent on advertising, and I never have. I use, some people say manipulate, tomato, the media to grow my business. Now, there's a great website, you may or may not know about it, but Source Bottle is a fantastic place for you to go, SOURCE, for you to go and register. It's free. In your level of expertise, whatever your business is, and then twice a day on Source Bottle you get a direct email from all the different media people or anyone's after any comment for any article or whatever will go through there because the media's lazy now, that's where it all goes. When you answer it back, it goes directly straight through to the person that's looking, so there's no middleman. So I've been in Forbes magazine with that. It's very effective. Now, just giving you the heads up, out of the, say we go for a month worth of 2 lots of emails a day, you're going to probably get one, if that, you go, well, actually, that's not too bad. So it's a bit of a waste of time. One of my new clients said, oh, I wasted so much time today on that. 3 seconds? Yeah, that's not for me. So it's just one of those things. It's good to get there, but that's also going to assist you in reach as well. Will you make an absolute crap load of money by being on media these days? Not really, but it's one of those things that cuts through people's little blank stares that they have, and next time you come in front of them and they might go, oh yeah, I've heard of you, where did I hear you for? And that's what it's all about. Now, we used to spend crap loads of money in magazines and newspaper ads and doing that, trying to get their attention. Why not get it for free through the media? That's my little tip. So, took off. The whole thing, the media thing just was amazing. I was getting people coming from left, right and centre, building upon that, building upon my range. Sitting in my garage one day, before I tell you about that, The one thing that I love about my own success from a me perspective is I now get away for everything I used to get in trouble for when I was a kid. So it's awesome. Because, people can go out and do their latte. I'd rather go out there and do my dickhead. So I just don't want to grow up at all. So my friends and I used to play practical jokes on each other fairly heavily. I'll give you just one example. The largest speaking job I've ever done was a little bit bigger than this. Was in America. It was 37,500 people in this one huge stadium. And I was the only person asked from Australia to go and speak at this thing, and it was awesome, right? And I was excited because, 37,000, you're a rock star before you even do anything because you come out, right? So I'm driving to the airport, the sun was shining, the birds were singing, all was happy and gay. I was in one of those bulletproof moods driving. You know when you're in good mood because you whistle. Driving down, phone rings, I said, hello. It's a guy with an American accent. He said, is that Justin Herald? I said, yes, it is. He says, it's such and such from where I was speaking. I said, oh, I'm so excited. He goes, look, we did a survey last night. No one really wants to hear anything you have to say, so we decided to cancel your flights. Maybe next year will be a better audience for you. Hung up the phone. I won't tell you what I said right then, but I was no longer whistling. So I'm thinking, you don't do that. I've told everyone I'm going to this thing. I'm going to look like an idiot if I turn up tomorrow at a barbecue. So I had the phone and I'm going through my phone book in the car and doing the angry dial. Have you ever done the angry dial? About to hit the last number, my phone rings. I said, hello. It's all my mates sitting around a speakerphone going, sucked in. So we just play dumb jokes on each other all the time. There's a point to this. So I'm media attention. So the one thing with media, and you've got to now work at it more than we used to in the olden days, media actually feeds off media. So you've got to really keep that going. Yes, it's a bit of work to do that, but when you're, current affair back in those days was 1.5 to 2.5 million viewers a night. Not bad to work that relationship, and that led to magazines and TVs, and it's been going for 25 years. Do a lot of radio stuff now. I don't ring them. They just keep on ringing me all the time based upon what's been happening. Now, there's a lot of fake social media. Fame is not real fame, just letting you know that. It's white noise. So you need to have some sort of traditional media to cut through that white noise. So, sitting in my garage, phone rings. Lady said, hello, it's Philips. We would love to license your brand. And I said, well, you can get stuffed. Hung up the phone. She rings back. She goes, we must have got cut off. I said, no, I hung up the phone. Here it comes again. Rings back for the third time. She goes, don't hang up the phone. I'm thinking, oh, crap, it's a real person. So I thought it was one of my friend's wives trying to sucker me in on the phone. She said, why did you hang up the phone? And I told her. She goes, oh, that's funny. I said, she said, it is really Philips, and we would love to license your brand. Can we have a meeting tomorrow morning? I said, absolutely, no problem. Now, I used to be married before to a woman, and my ex-wife had a disease which most females have, and that disease was she just had to know who I was on the phone to all the time. Freaking annoying from a bloke's perspective. I'm not sure if any other bloke's gone through this, because we start to tell you, and you go, well, I don't care. Well, why ask in the first place? Anyway, get off the phone. She goes, how was that? I said, that was Philips. What do they want? They want to license my brand. What's licensing? I've got absolutely no idea. If opportunity's not knocking, build a door. There's all these people in business that are waiting for business to work out the way that they want it to work out, and they've got it pre-planned on how it should work. What happens if it could work something totally different, based upon what you don't know yet? I'll go to an opening of a fridge these days just in case something might happen. So, following morning, I had a bit of a girly moment. Marty was over. I'd never been to a meeting before. And he goes, well, what are you going to wear? I said, I don't know. What do you wear to a meeting? He goes, I've never been to one either. And I said, I might have missed. I might have been in the hallway at school on how to dress to go to a meeting. So what do we do? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, what do I do? And he goes, well, what did they say? I said, well, they saw me on a current affair. He goes, well, wear what you had on a current affair. Good idea. So the first meeting I ever went to, I had thongs on, holes in my jeans before it was trendy, and an Attitude t-shirt. Drove to Philips head office. Get to Philips, walk in to reception. I'm in boy heaven. Gadgets everywhere, buttons. I love buttons. If I can get an extra button in my car, it doesn't have to be connected. I just love having buttons everywhere. But there were stereos, TVs, mobile phones, everything all over the place. I went up to the receptionist and said, hello, she goes, oh, you're the bald man they told me to look out for. I felt like saying you're really ugly, but I didn't. I kept that one internal. She said, follow me. So we started walking down the corridor. Guy comes out, he goes, you here? I said, I am. He goes back in his room. Oh, okay. Keep walking down the corridor. Guy comes out of his office, he goes, oh, I've been dying to meet you. I said, mate, me too. How you going? Back in his room. I'm thinking, don't you meet when you have meetings like you meet? So we kept walking down the corridor, and I said to this lady, excuse me, how do they know who I am? And she goes, I don't know. I'm just the receptionist. She was a sour sack of a lady, this lady. She'd been sucking on lemons most of her life, right? We get to these 2 double doors. She flings open the double doors. I walk into the world's biggest boardroom with the world's longest boardroom table down the middle and 34 men in suits staring at me. Have you ever been somewhere and you can physically feel yourself leave your comfort zone? Now, I'm a little bit different. I didn't know this, but I'm a little bit different to a lot of people, I guess, where I love doing this. It's not something, I don't get scared about it. I never have. It's not something I'd set out. Everyone wants to be a speaker these days. I never set out. I've been doing it now for 18 years. It was just asked to come and tell my story one day and other stuff that I speak on, and I just love doing it. But one-on-one, not a big fan of that. Not if I know you or not if I'm getting to know you. More like you get into a lift and there's other people there. What do you say? And I'll go to say something, my head will go, ooh. That's exactly what my head does. My head will go, oh, don't say that. So I that small talk, chitty-chatty stuff that's, no disrespect, it's a bit irrelevant, you know. It's just that it's like a stocking filler for Christmas. It's just shit you chuck in there and go, right? So the first guy comes up to me and goes, it's a beautiful day. I'm thinking, oh, crap. That's the only one I had. Next guy comes up to me and goes, I've got to take my glasses off for this one. He goes, my wife bought me this tie just for our meeting. Really? That one's for you. Another guy comes up and does this handshake where his hand's on top of my hand, which apparently makes him more dominant than me. Mate, take my leg. Don't really care. So I shook everyone's hand. They said, would you like to sit down? I said, yeah. So they sit me on this side of the table and they all sit on the other side of the table. Yeah, there's some room here if you want. And they're straight into this meeting. There was no other reason we asked you to come along today. None of that. Straight into this meeting with words I've never even heard of, and one of them I still can't even figure out what the hell it means. Brand machinations. So straight into this thing. Set for an hour. 15 minutes, 10 minutes into the meeting, I'm thinking, you rung the wrong guy. You rung the wrong guy. What do I do? Do I say something? No. They're going to think I'm stupid if I say something. Wonder what we're having for dinner. Tuned out. Totally tuned out, thinking this has got nothing to do with me. I'll let them waffle and see where we go. 45 minutes in the meeting, they said, so what do you think? I said, I don't know. What's it going to cost? They said, oh, no. We pay you. We want to license your brand, so we pay you for your name. And then we give you a royalty for everything that's sold with your name on it. I said, why would you do that? They said, that's licensing. I said, that's fantastic, but I don't understand what licensing is. Then their lawyer said, so you don't understand licensing. I said, I'll say it again for you slowly. I don't understand licensing. So they explained it to me. I'll give you the very quick Justin Herald version. The most important and most valuable asset everyone in this room has in your business is not goodwill. There is no such thing these days. If you own a hairdresser and you sell it, or people are going to follow you. The person buying your hairdresser is not going to go, oh, yay, new person. They're going to try and find out where you've gone. So goodwill's out the window. The most valuable asset in your business is your intellectual property, your business name. Now, people go, oh, I've got that covered. I've got my business name registered. Whoop-de-doo. Doesn't mean a thing. Trademark it. ipaustralia.gov.au is where you need to go to trademark it. It costs you $220 if you do it yourself, or you can pay $2,500 to get a lawyer to do it. Your choice. So what you've got to do, and I'm going to be here on Sunday at the round table for half the day, because I've then got to go speak on Sunday afternoon, but I can talk you through how to do it, because I used to sit on the trademarks board, so they hate me telling people how to do it, but I'll show you how to do it for $220, right? But that's the most valuable. The reason that Philips came to me, one, they wanted my name, which I owned, the word attitude at that stage globally. The other thing is they wanted my market share. They wanted the 18 to 25-year-olds that were buying Attitude, and at that stage we had 3,500 outlets in Australia that were selling the brand, so we had a very big market reach. So I said to them, I thought I had to pay you. They said, no. I said, I don't know now, but because I thought that then, I haven't listened to anything you've said. So, if you wouldn't mind, can we go over it again? And I'm pretty sure I heard, he's an idiot. So they go over it again. So, have you ever been somewhere and someone says something to you? Is everyone there? Hang on, excuse me. Sorry about that. And someone says something to you, you go, yeah. And then all of a sudden you actually do hear that penny drop in the back of your head, you go, oh crap. Because it was like, oh shit, they pay me. Awesome. Now, if my friends were here, I've never done stuff for money. Like, money's a byproduct of doing a good job. It's do a good job, you make money. It's simple as that. So you can control doing the good job, but you can't control how much money you're doing if you're not doing a good job. But if you give me something for free, oh, I love freebies. So I'm thinking, what can I get for free? I said, excuse me, so you pay me to put my name on it? Yeah, cool. Can I get a free television as part of this deal? They said, no problem. And they kept on talking. I'm still stuck back at no problem. Wonder what else I can get for free. That was really easy. Just one more question. You want me to sign the deal today? Yeah, that's the plan. Okay, cool. Could I get a stereo then to go at the television? No problem. Keep on talking. So they get to the end of it. They said, so what do you think? I said, yeah, I'll do this. Great deal. Going to do it. They said, would you like to think about it? I said, I already have. Free TV, free stereo. Nothing to think about. They said, would you like to negotiate? I said, I just thought we did. Free TV. They said, no, we pay you as well. I'd forgotten about that. So they said, well, let's negotiate. I said, okay, let's negotiate. I said, what are you doing? They said, well, you start. I said, I'm not starting, you start. Oh, no, you start. I said, I'm not starting, you start. And they said, no. I said, look, I was happy with the TV and stereo. If you want to pay me, whack-a-do, but I'm not starting. Because I would have gone, $1. But they said, well, we need to have a discussion. I said, I don't care what you need to do, I just don't want to start. They said, okay. Now, I'm in a huge room with them. I'm expecting them to say, would you excuse us, please, and step outside? No. They all get up and go to the corner. Now I'm at the table entirely by myself. And you can't look in their direction because they've got the group spy looking at you to make sure you're not looking in their direction. And they come back, and some people say dumb stuff. They come back, they sit down, they said, we've had a discussion. I know, I was here the whole time. They pull out this piece of paper, they write a figure down on the back of this piece of paper, face down the world's longest, slipperiest boardroom table and slip it across. Now, in business, I'm going fast now because I know I need to finish. In business, it's all about staying calm and collected. I know that because I'm a businessman. Pick up the piece of paper. How you going? Beautiful day. Nice tie. You're kidding me. Now, has anyone ever seen a figure and it's so big, it's quicker to count the commas? I'm not sure anyone else, when it's a big figure, it might be just because I failed maths and failed everything really, but you get 1,000, 2,000, count the commas quicker. So I said, I've always been the king of the dumb question. So I said, excuse me, so is that a full stop or a comma? They said, that's a comma. Now, underneath the table I was shaking. I said, I just got to ask you one more question. I said, this is the 3-year deal. They said, yes. I said, so this gets paid over the 3 years. They said, no. They said, that's per year. Then I asked the dumb question. I said, you know how I'm getting that free TV and free stereo? They said, yes. I said, does it come out of this price? They said, no, it's free. Then Harry Van Dyke, who was my mentor, became my mentor from that day. Harry Van Dyke was the CEO of Philips, the most awesome bloke on the planet. He taught me everything about business, and I'm a huge believer, if you don't have a mentor, different to a coach, a mentor in your business, you need one, because they can give you the roadmap to success. The one thing that Harry told me the first meeting we ever had, don't change who you are, Justin, because the freshness of how you are in business is what we actually need in business, and you'll go, well. So same stuff happens when I do my big deals with all the major retailers. Same. Like, I just walk in there and go, no idea what we're going on about. Anyway, so Harry walks in, he comes and he goes, I like doing business with you. I said, mate, I like doing business with you too. So they went through more people came in, marketing stuff, blah, 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 blah. Go to leave. Now, this is 4 hours into my 1 hour meeting now. So go to leave. They give me the check. Now I like being funny. And so I said to them, it was a big check. I said, do you reckon I can get like one of those novelty checks made up? You know what the response was? I said, that was funny. It was funny, you can... Not funny. So, go to get out the door. I went, oh, hang on a tick. Where's my TV and stereo? They said, oh, we'll deliver that. I said, bugger that for a joke. I need to take it with me now. They said, why? I said, because when I left home, my wife said, how long will you be? I said, it's an hour-long meeting. It's going to take me 15 minutes to get there, 15 minutes back. So an hour and a half. She goes, well, make sure you come straight back home. I said, where else would I go? She goes, to the pub. I said, I'm not even going to the pub. I haven't thought about going to the pub. I'm not even a pub guy. Well, don't go to the pub. I'm not going to the pub. Well, you better not go to the pub. Still not going to the pub. But I might go to the pub now because I'm in trouble for going to the pub, which I haven't even been to the pub yet. So if I come back home 5 hours later, I walk in the house, she's going to go, where have you been? I go, I've been to the meeting. No, you haven't. You've been to the pub. No, I haven't been to the meeting. Why did it take so long? Well, it took so long because I said this, I said this, I said this. Then I said this. And she's going to go, you're an idiot. But if I walk into the house with a TV and stereo, I am a legend as soon as I walk through the door. So I'd rather legend than idiot. And half the blokes in the room are going... So I said, I'll take it with me now. They said, we've got none here. I said, yes, you do. They said, no, we don't. I said, yes, you do. They said, where? I said, in the foyer. I said, the sour sack of a lady that you got out there, all she's doing is watching all your TVs. Taking one of them off the wall. They said, well, we don't have boxes for that. I said, I don't want a box. If I take this home in a box for the next 2.5 weeks and cut up in little pieces and put it in my whiz bin. So halfway through that, I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to leave it for the council clean-up day. She's going to go, you better not forget. See, if I'm going to frickin' forget, you're going to remind me about it every 5 seconds. So I'm going to be probably away on the weekend of the council clean-up day, instead of her going, oh, he's left this very light box out the front. Let me go and put it out the front. No, she's going to leave it there to teach me a lesson. So when I get home, instead of saying, thank you so much for working for me and Jimmy Choo, not going to get that. I'm going to get, you forgot your box. With the frickin' box in the first place. So I'm going to argue about a box that I want. Can I not have the box? They said, we don't give you a box. We won't give you a box. I said, good. So I go out, I said, I'll have that stereo. I go up to where the angry, nasty lady was sitting. I'll have that television. I put it in bubble wrap, they go take it to my car. I said, goodbye to everyone, see you, and you, mate. Walk to my car, I'm going to finish now. Get beside my car. And I did the one thing that I still do to this day. Anytime anything happens. So, does anyone remember the first day that you started your business? Anyone here in the room? Exciting, eh? Remember the first person that actually rung you or did business with you? Exciting, eh? But now, we're business owners. It's not that exciting. We don't get excited. The reason you're here is because you got excited at some point in time. So why do you turn the excitement tap off? Get excited. Whether it's a big deal, small deal, no deal, whatever, get excited. See, excitement leads to passion. And passionate people are the ones that produce. But I get excited about everything. But I get outwardly excited. So I get to my car, there's a huge TV and stereo in the back seat. I've got this big check. I had no idea what had happened. And I look up and here they all are looking out the window. You know, the reality of the thing is most people would not have even gone to that meeting for one reason. They didn't know what it was about. I don't care how long you've been in business. Please don't take this as I'm having a shot here, but I don't care how long you've been in business. But this next thing is 100% true. Your future success doesn't have a great deal to do with what you currently know. You know why? Because if it did, you should be there by now. So that's why all you sitting in this room are one step further ahead than anyone in business, because you realise you need to learn some more stuff. Right? So if the time that you turn the learning stuff off in your head is the time that you'll actually stagnate. Sold attitude, I'm driving home on the way home and I thought, yeah, I don't mind this licensing thing. Seems to go all right. Get a free TV and free stereo out of it. Over the next 5 years, I decided to license to over 180 odd companies throughout the world, from Philips, Holden, Harley, you name a company. They bought the license off me to make over 900 products under the 180 odd companies with attitude on it. And I got between 2 and 22.5% of all the turnover of any product that they sold globally around the world. All because a stupid woman told me I had an attitude problem. If we come into this room at night time, turn the lights on, find the switch. Some people have forgotten what their switch was. Mine was to piss a lady off. Still love doing it. She keeps telling me, stop talking about me. So I just did. I've written 8 books. The first book she read, she goes, I don't want you to write about me anymore. She's in every single one of my books. She's my switch. Make sure you find your switch. Thank you very much.
Wow. Justin, awesome. Thanks, mate. 1, 2. Thanks. Is this microphone on? Can you hear me okay? Yep. Wow, what an amazing presentation. Let's give him another big round of applause.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right. Every time we have Justin come along and speak, everyone always asks questions about his books and also about a few DVDs that he has produced over the years as well. After winning the International Entrepreneur of the Year award, Justin was signed to publish and to speak in Australia and all over the world. So many people I know may want to get hold of those. So I've asked Justin to bring along some, like samples, and also just to basically tell you where you can get access to them as well. And he's done something really, really special that he doesn't offer anywhere else because we have such a good relationship and he loves Blueprint. So tell people about the books, where they can get them and how it works.
Yeah, look, and this is not a sales spiel, even though it sounds like a sales spiel, but if you go to my website, what I'm about to talk about does cost $3,500. And people buy it all the time. But for Dale, I do the Dale price. I've done Dale for years.
10 years.
I love helping, and this is my first gig for the year, and I love doing something for the first and last gig of the year is always something that I normally don't do. I've put all of my business audio programs all onto a USB. It's 18.5 hours. There's no fluff. I'm not sure if you've realised with me. No fluff going on. So it's how to brand, how to market, how to sell, how to grow your business without spending money, all that sort of stuff. Over 18 hours worth of audio, all on a USB, and that's $400. So instead of the $3,500. But as the added bonus, as a bit of a no-brainer. As I said before, opportunities are in your face all the time, whether you take them or not. I'll actually throw an hour of my time in, one-on-one with you, no Justin Herald lookalikes at all, where we will, unless you're in Sydney, we can do it one-on-one, face-to-face, but otherwise on the phone, where I will work inside with you in your business to actually help you turn that around or whatever problem you've got going on and help you do that. All that's free. As part of that $400. So if you're interested, that's great. If you're not, that's great. If you're offended, up your jumper. But yeah, I'll be outside if you want to have a chat about what it is and how we do it. But for me, I just love getting inside business for one reason. The more money you make, the more money you realise you don't need, the more things we can go, like your hands across the water, you can go and then put stuff into that. So it's about helping people get to a level of success beyond their current or desire. Then you've got excess for success. So thank you so much.
Thanks. Awesome. Thank you.